This infrastructure was built around 1970, these laboratories and this campus. The equipment that we have as an organization was put in place around the 70s and the 80s. I would say in the 1990s and the 2000s, there wasn't an investment, a reinvestment into this infrastructure. It wasn't only the infrastructure that was failing, with government not quite investing in the SABS infrastructure. What happened is that people started to see opportunities to start their own businesses. So if there was a new technology and there was a need for a new test and SABS did not have the money to invest in that testing capabilities, an industry, a player will see an opportunity and will go and establish their own lab and will come and recruit from this institution. So over time, we lost capabilities. And as an organization, we changed our own policies in line with where the country was going. Around 1994, there were decisions that were made, policy decisions, to open our economy, to focus on exports, and that led to SABS then making a decision that we are going to mostly follow the trends of international standards development, which meant for anybody who was sitting here at SABS that we did not need the kind of experts that would determine the agenda. We needed people that were going to administer what industry needed and what the international agenda was. So increasingly, out of that policy decision, we found ourselves with more administrators than people that can engage industry about the changes in industry and what impact those changes in industry or demands from industry have on standardization. So we were not informing decisions, we were just administering a process to get the standards out for industry. Somebody else was making decisions, either internationally or industry itself, and the SABS would just administer that process. Joining the organization, I found that even though that was convenient for industry, they were looking for a SABS that they were used to in the 80s. They wanted a SABS that would engage with them, find solutions with them, and help them to get to new markets and advise them where they need advice on standards, and they couldn't find it in this organization. As a result of that, we then started a process to rebuild our capabilities, and that's why we went through a restructuring process in our standards division of the organization. That was to move us from an administration-focused standards body to a thought leadership standards body. Obviously, there's admin to be done, and that we've retained good administration, efficient and relevant administration, but also we wanted to bring capabilities back that used to be in the bureau that drive informed standardization agenda, and that we did not have. It's also important that I mention that the standards group is only 23% of sales. So when we're talking about a lot of changes and we're referring to the restructuring process, it only affected 23% of the organization. So that's the rationale behind the restructuring process that we put in place. There is a strategy that we put together leading to that restructuring process, enhancing the role of standardization. It talks to relevant standards for the South African economy, responding to what government needs, responding to what industry needs, and also drawing from the international agenda. We needed to be able to balance those three forces in order for us to come up with a yearly agenda for standards development, and we didn't do that in the past.